Hello everyone and welcome to episode 10 of Estate Planning TV. I'm your host, Christopher Small, and this is the internet's most passionate show about estate planning. What is up? Hello everyone and welcome to another show. Today I'm here to, and I'm excited really to talk to you about what is essentially estate tax avoidance tip number 2. We did one last week, we'll do another one this week, and that is how to save $259,350 on your estate taxes with a little simple estate planning solution. Now, before we get into the solution, there are a couple of caveats. There are a couple of things that need to be in place for this to work for you. Number one, you have to live in Washington State because that's where this estate tax comes into play. Number two, you have to be married. So if you're not married, this won't help you. Sorry. And number three, you've got to have a net worth of really over $4 million. Although if you get over 2, this will start to help and start to add up over time. So what are we talking about? How to save $259,350 with a simple estate planning tool. And so I got to give you a little bit of background here before we really get into the solution to the problem. So in Washington State, as of the recording of this episode, estate taxes start at $2.129 million. So anything you have over that is going to get taxed. The first 10%, the first million over that is at 10%. The second million over that is at 14%. The third million at 15%, and on and on and on. Now, everybody has their own $2.129 million to sort of use as an estate tax exemption. But when you die, you cannot give that to your spouse. That's called portability. So the reason why this works if you're married is because this solution effectively carves out and gives you an extra $2.129 million. So to do the quick math, if you were married and your spouse passed away and everything went to you and you had over $4 million in net worth and then you passed away, you would be paying you would be paying at least $259,350 in estate taxes that you could have saved with this solution. And this solution is called Credit Shelter Trust, AB Trust, Marital Trust. There are different names and there are actually different variations even within this type of trust depending on what your family makeup is and what's important to you, what you're trying to do on the back end. But the gist of it is when the first spouse passes away, a separate trust is created and their estate tax exemption, $2.129 million, is put into that trust. Now, the surviving spouse, the one that remains, can get access to the trust, can use the trust, can live off of the trust if they need to. But when the surviving spouse dies, that $2.129 that's been carved out into this other trust, it remains outside of their estate. So the surviving spouse, when they pass, they get $2.129. This $2.129 over here has already been carved out. So essentially, you get to go to $4.258 million before you have to pay estate taxes, which saves you $259,350. Now, this solution is not incredibly hard to implement, and it will save you a ton of money. It's a small price to pay to do it, and I would love to help you out if you're interested in learning more. If you want to do that, you can email me, chris@cmslawfirm.com. Call me 206-659-1512. You can also just Google Credit Shelter Trust, AB Trust, Marital Trust, and you can learn a little bit more about it. But it's the kind of thing where you want to take action now, get it set up so it's in place, and you can rest easy knowing that you have just added $260,000 essentially to what your family is going to get. So that's it for me for today. Thank you as always for listening. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you again next week.